Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with me our fabulous singer, Suzanne Ziegler, with the song Que Sera Sera. Suzanne, the stage is yours.
Yeah.
When I was just a little girl, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be rich? Hear what she said to me. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. What will be, will be. When I grew up and fell in love, I asked my sweetheart what lies ahead. Will we have rainbows day after day? Hear what my sweetheart said. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. What will be, will be. Now I have children on my own. They ask their mother, what will I be? Will I be handsome? Will I be rich? I tell them tenderly, que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. What will be, will be. Que sera, sera.
Yeah.
Dankeschön.
Hervorragend.
Thank you very much, Suzanne, for this artistic introduction to our speed geeking session today. I also welcome you warmly from my side. My name is Daniel Stolaschai. I'm currently sitting in Switzerland, and I'm here with my co-moderators, and I would like to introduce you. Tino, maybe you can briefly introduce you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Daniel. My name is Tino Roth. I'm a co-moderator too in our session today. I'm from south of Hamburg and north of Hanover. It's called the Weißwurst Equator in German. Yeah, and now I would like to introduce you the third moderator.
That's me.
Oh, yeah, very good.
I'm here in Augsburg, which is the southern part of Bavaria. So it's a different side of Bavaria from Tino. Yes, I'm a freelancing digital learning expert, so specialized in web-based learning, I would say. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to moderating this session. So let's have some fun.
Thank you, Tino and Martin. And I assume that we are now from a lot of different countries, since this is the first English-speaking speed geeking session today. So maybe you can use the chat just to introduce briefly yourself and your country, so that we see from which country do you take part today in that session. The official part, by the way, will start in about 11 minutes. We are still in the get-together session. So I see Germany.
From UK.
UK.
Oh,
USA.
from
USA, great. Yeah, Austria. Indonesia. Hi, Mike.
And good night, Mike.
Huh?
Bavaria.
So still a lot of people from Germany. Are there any people from Switzerland, maybe Italy, France? Let's see. Turkey, great.
Turkey.
We are currently 67 people in the room. Russia.
Wow, great.
Okay. Philippines.
United States again.
We still wait a little bit.
Germany. Sorry, Daniel, you are the only from Switzerland.
Mm-hmm. Okay, again,
Berlin.
In the meantime, I've seen that Yufang is from the States. Maybe Yufang, maybe you can briefly say hello by using your microphone, and maybe, if that's possible, Lisa, you can maybe also bring Yufang to the stage. I hope I don't stress you too much. So if you are online, Yufang, maybe you can say something into the microphone from the States.
Oh, that's me, I guess. Hi, can you guys hear me? All right.
Yep. Welcome.
Yeah, it's my first. I'm excited to join this session and sort of get to know more learning and development world. I've been doing e-learning for e-learning instructional design for about like seven years, but definitely very excited to, and also very interested to learn more, to get more insights from people like around the world and see what you guys, what's your ideas or, about good design and all those things. So yeah, so that's about it. Yeah.
Okay, great to have you on board, you. And I've seen that we also have people from Austria. So maybe someone from Austria can also open the mic and say hello to the crowd. Who is here from Austria?
Hello,
For instance,
my name is
hello.
Anja,
Mhm.
and I'm from Austria. I work in Vienna, but I live in Wiener Neustadt, which is about 50 kilometers south of Vienna. And I'm an e-learning author for about 10, 15 years.
Hello, Anja. Nice to have you on board. Great. Is someone here from south of Europe? That means Italy, France, Spain, Portugal. If yes, please open your mic and say hello. I just wait a little moment. That seems not to be the case. But I see Florence Bühler from Basel is here.
Yeah, Frank wrote to me there are 18 registered colleagues from Switzerland.
Okay. Maybe Florence, you can also maybe briefly open the mic and say hello.
Yes, hello everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Hello.
What's your background, Florence?
I'm actually a teacher for English and history, but for some time I've been working in the medtech industry in the education department, also as an e-learning author.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Nice to have you on board.
Thank you.
Yeah. Are you interested, Florence, in another person to introduce him or herself briefly? Maybe you can just look in the participant list.
Let me look. Yes. A lot from Germany and Austria I can see. So I don't know anybody, to be honest. So
it doesn't matter. You can just pick up someone.
Yeah, okay. So there is a Veron Medina from the Philippines, I see. That's far away.
Great. So Verona, you can open your microphone.
Okay, good day to everyone. I'm from Philippines. It is our first time in school to have that online teaching or online system in education. Just due to COVID, we were able to have our online system.
Okay, and what time do you have at the moment at your local?
It's about going to be 10 p.m.
Okay, good.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yes.
So
thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Good.
Polly and Patrick wrote they came from Russia. I'm a little bit confused.
Hi, everyone. Greetings from Frankenland, from Bavaria, but at the same time, I was thinking to bring some diversity into our conversation. I introduced the Russian part. I'm originally from Moscow, from Russia, working here in Bavaria together with my fantastic colleague Patrick from Bavaria again. Yes, so just was thinking, why not typing my original land. Yeah. Someone is typing привет, so привет to someone who is typing привет, Florian. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And Frank Roach, we have 19 registered colleagues from Canada. Is everybody from Canada inside? Hello?
So.
No? No one logged in? Okay. And Volker Road, see you next time in Moscow. So.
And as you can see, we start in 1.5 minutes. Good. So we hand over to you, Lisa, so that you can take care about the last minute before we start.
Of course I will do. Thank you very much, Daniel. We have just 1 minute left. Maybe we can have a countdown in the last 10 seconds. What about that? Are you in? Is everybody in for last countdown after 10 seconds left? We will do that, of course.
Should everybody open the mic for that, Lisa?
Yeah, you should maybe open the mic for that.
Let's try.
Maybe I can help a little bit.
Good. So be prepared. In 20 seconds, we open the mic for everybody and make a countdown.
If you haven't opened the mic, you can open it by yourself, just clicking on the left side corner and unmute yourself. 3 seconds left and 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 0, start.
Okay.
Hallo zusammen. Good afternoon.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the eLearning Summit 21. This year, we expect over 20,000 e-learning professionals in almost 70 virtual events. My name is Frank Sittman, and I'm the publisher of the eLearning Journal and the founder of the Corporate Learning Research Institute, IFBB. Actually, as the community of praxis, we are hosting around 160,000 N&D professionals, and I'm proud to welcome today about 770 registered guests. We'll see how many will join with us today. So, well, greetings from Germany to all our colleagues in US, in UK, and all over, all our friends in Europe, Asia, and around the world. So I hope to see all of you in some of our upcoming events this year too. I will drop my link tree to the chat for everybody who would like to connect with us in our social media ecosystem. Before I introduce you to our Master of Ceremony today, let me say thanks to our head of events, Elisa Cordes, and to all our speakers today and volunteers for the excellent organization. So now, hello to Dr. Daniel Scholler-Schei from Switzerland.
Hello.
Hi, Daniel. Daniel, how is the weather today in Switzerland, and where are you based today, in Bern or Zurich?
No, I'm currently located in the beautiful Zürcher Oberland. This is 20 kilometers southeast of Zurich. The weather is bright, clear, but really cold.
Yeah, so for sure I miss the Zurich lake, but I don't miss the prices in Swiss. It's always very hard. If you order a pizza, you have to spend 24 euro, but anywhere. So also I say hello to Dr. Martin Lindner from the IFBB Institute in Germany.
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm here from Bavaria. The weather is quite cold too, so like in Zurich. And we have some sunny spells right now, so maybe that's a good omen for that.
Okay, last but not least, also hello to Tino Roth, one of the heads of our EduPunks from the Sigmund Media think tank. So Tino cannot hear you. Okay, I think we'll come later. Back to you. So Daniel, how it will going today regarding the speed geeking setting?
Okay, we will have as many times before in Germany, we will have a nice combination of keynote speaks and speed geeking sessions. I know that a lot of you already participated in the German-speaking speed geeking session, so you know the procedure. We will start with a keynote, which I will introduce briefly, and then we will follow up with speed geeking sessions. Lisa Cordes will explain then or handle the mechanics around the speed geeking sessions. I will introduce them. Then we will have again a keynote, a second speed geeking session, a third keynote, and we will end up with a short plenum discussion. And very important, at the end, we will make a photo of all of us. So before you leave, don't forget to be part on the photo. And then at the end, you also have, again, gathering time together where we can spend some time for informal discussions before we end then approximately at 6:30.
Okay, so actually I would hear the song from Susan again, but I think we should gonna start now. So Daniel, let's go.
Okay, thank you very much, Frank. And I'm very happy to introduce our first keynote speaker, who is Volker Kunze. Volker is currently team lead digital solution at EOS in Germany. And EOS is one of the leading companies in 3D printing. So welcome, Volker. You will speak today not only about one key trend, but actually about two. You will speak about XR, which means augmented reality and virtual reality in combination with artificial intelligence. I think that's a very interesting and future-oriented combination. You will also speak about how we can avoid and eliminating manual processes and be disruptive. And your third point, also that one is very interesting. You will speak about a global scenario where knowledge and learning finds people and not vice versa, as we did that in the last 20 years. So I warmly welcome you, Volker, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Daniel, for your introduction, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Yes, so I've seen you all everywhere in the world. Yes, so we have a very interesting group of attendees. And I'm like Daniel said, I'm coming here from EOS, and I'm part of the Additive Minds Academy. And we created an educational program. So I joined EOS 2.5 years ago, and what you see here and what I will present to you really happened over the last 2.5 years. So from scratch, yes. So this is what I said in my introduction, and what I will show you in my presentation. So even here, the learning passes, yes, and everything else. So a lot of things happened during the last, yes, 2.5 years. So let's go. I now share my screen. Here we go. So that you have the focus here on my screen. And how to create an XR and AI supported future-driven training learning knowledge setup from scratch. Yes, so when I joined EOS, I thought, okay, you're coming to a disruptive company, which is since 30 years. Oh yes, I just have to mention and win some awards. Yes, so the Augmented Reality Award 2021. And still not announced, but it will be soon, the Best Project 2021. So really proud to receive these awards, and more about this you will read in the near future. So like I said, I'm Team Lead Digital Solutions. If you want to contact me afterwards, you see my email, or you can find me on LinkedIn, and let's grow the expert network. So EOS is 30 years in the additive manufacturing, 3D printing, industrial 3D printing, a lot of knowledge to be told regarding materials, metal and polymer systems, regarding software to use. And then we have the area of additive minds, where the consultants talk about how to prepare your data, what you have to do to print parts in polymer or in metal. And it's unfortunately not so easy just to hit a print button, but it could be easy with our training and learning. So our mission statement at the Additive Minds Academy is to build up and transfer additive manufacturing knowledge so people can start forming a sustainable and human future. Yes, a lot of things. And knowledge and additive manufacturing technology comes to disruption. So we have the paths of knowledge, yes, and you have school education, adult education, lifelong learning, reskilling, yes, and then you have the disruptive learning with learning paths, with individual learning. And then you have the technology, yes, return on investment. Over the time, you have more and more productivity and less technology investment. And if you bring together the two lines going up, yes, then you have the disruption. So my role have been just to take this switch, yes, and bring it from analog to digital. And so there are three main learning trends I will talk about. So number one is everything, anytime, and anywhere. So not depending on your place of birth, money, or politics, yes, you can have access to these digital materials. You don't have to drive, to fly, to go somewhere. You can learn on your own speed and on your own background. And the place and the speed intensity of learning will be customized and highly personalized in the future. And the company's capabilities and competitiveness will depend on its ability to engage in collaborative knowledge generation. So digitalization of knowledge and learning have had several steps, even inside EOS and over the last 2.5 years. So before I joined, We have had classroom trainings, 120 days of different training content, remote training, which have been more a little bit web-based, yes, but before Corona, the situation has been quite different. So it has been absolute an influencer. And we have had some video-based training. And I found some outdated 3 courses in a Moodle environment, which not really have been used over the time. So we extended the web-based training and added some extended reality-based training. So you will see some examples afterwards. And in my Speed Geek session, I will show some videos, what we have done in the past. And finally, our goal is to reach the AI-based training. And how it looks like, you will see later on. So starting point have been these 120 classroom training days at Additive Minds and EOS. And first, we said, okay, what are the job roles we are serving? Yes, so we said, okay, we have application engineers, quality engineers, design, AM business and engineers, and support roles. And then we said, okay, what level of knowledge do we have? Yes, so the phases. So basic knowledge, what is knowledge you must have for your role model. Then you have the expert training, and then you have to train the trainer. And so we took all, just have to take away this picture. And we took all learning courses and put them here into this squares. And our first goal have been to have digital content 50% overall. So out of these 120 days, get 60 days as digital content. So we said, okay, now we have the phases and we have the different kind of content. Yes, how could it be transformed? Can we have virtual classroom, knowledge tests, presentations, webinar, etc.? Yes, to gather first experience in phase 1, build up your know-how, deepen your knowledge with training, use your knowledge in daily life, and establish and improve your personal skills. And finally, you will become an expert. So we brought this into a line, and here you see the different colors of different learning types. Yes, and we have seen in the end that more than 75% of the training content became online modules. So we overreached our goal of 50, and in general, this lead it into our ecosystem. So in the beginning, it has been just 5 job roles, and now we have 8 job roles. Yes, and here is the company is at the starting point and says, okay, now I have to educate my people. Yes, and this is our ecosystem, which have been established over the last 2.5 years, and which we are working on in the Additive Minds Academy. And for example, you want to become a system operator. This is your learning path you have to follow. And if you have an addendum, you will become an AM service engineer. Yes, and same is here for AM designer, for example. And then you have to decide if you go for metal or for polymer and follow your learning path. And finally, you become an AM designer. So strategic positioning is first customer and EOS employee onboarding. Yes, so really from scratch, starting having not the most idea of 3D printing, but also upskilling and reskilling, which is very important because we have a lot of people joining the 3D printing and additive manufacturing industry, and they need some upskilling because they have basic skills, but they need some special skills for 3D printing. So we divided it into learning programs, and learning programs have learning paths included. Within the learning paths, we have the learning modules, and the learning modules consist of learning nuggets. And out of this, in August 2020, we started the first e-commerce of EOS. So it started with online training, and now have been added the refurbished machines. And next sections will be powder, software, and spare parts. So this, you see, it's not just an internal thing that we have, but you see also external usage of for e-commerce. And here you see, for example, our learning passes, so 80 hours, 72 hours, 67 hours. And each quarter, we will have an additional learning path for the different job roles. And then we have to learn all these individual learning modules. So individualization of learning, you have some basic knowledge, yes, but you want to know more about support and orientation. You want to know what is critical to quality. Yes, so you can take your individual learnings. And finally, we started cooperating with content sharing platforms here in Germany, in the German-speaking area, and offering it to the public. And you see it's here kostenlos, it is free, everyone can access it. Yes, so it's free of charge. And get some recognition in our industry. And here is a little call for action. So if you know someone who knows industrial-focused content sharing platform outside the German-speaking area, yes, like North America or China or somewhere else in the world, please let me know and just contact me. So this has been the little call for action. And we are member of the EU Tech, which is an environment where you can have a 365 days, 24 hours fair, and there is an academy, so to spread the knowledge of additive manufacturing. And this gives different abilities to have a permanent exhibition, to have different speaking slots, etc. And I was talking about the first wave of developing content. And if you stand in front of the hill of all the manual trainings you have, all these analog trainings, classroom trainings, and first is that you have to make a first version. Yes, like nowadays you work in iterations and say, hey, okay, we just have to transform it, yes, make a digital version out of it and enhance it time after time. So adding artificial intelligence have been in the first iteration from 2019 to 2020, have been AI audio voiceover for our courses, have been AI machine translation and AI actor. Yes, so bring a little bit personalization into the courses, have some consultants talking with you. And within the second iteration in 2021, we use some smart tools. Yeah, smart tools like Lumen 5, which makes some marketing videos or trailer videos, Synthesia for artificial actors, yes, where you can have people speaking the text you want and it looks like humans, or Videosi to have some just intros, outros for all your courses, and you don't have to invest hours and hours for your content. And then now I'm a little bit proud, and you will see it later on in the Speed Geeking session, a little world preview. We will use smarter machine translation with lingo.ai. You see here the first pictures of this environment, and Jaban will tell you more about this one. And not just normal text, but you even can use, for example, XLive, which is a translation format. And you can say, okay, this is my source language, yes, and more interesting is you can even use smarter audio voiceover. So you can say, okay, I want to translate this document, but then I also want to have an audio output, yes, and then you even can say, and you see here your line starts, yes, here, like, for example, translation, take Google and make a French translation, and then you get the French output and you can listen to the audio. And what is very interesting, this is in one tool and it is all cloud service based. So you can take the best from every cloud service and say, hey, I want to have this voice and I want to have that voice. So this will bring us in front of very fast translation and bringing our e-commerce store now to North America, and next will be to bring it to China. So next wave of adding artificial intelligence will be iteration 3 and 4, starting in this year, the preparation. But in 2022, we will start with AI curated content and skills and competencies management. This really, I will show you at the end the final picture, how it will look like. So this will relate into AI-based training. And coming back to the three main learning trends, experience and feel learning, and very important for me, bring learning to the place where you need it. Yes, no distraction of training. So overcoming time zone problems, physical inaccessibilities and other limits, and increase learning efficiency. Sustainability and environmentally friendly learning. So you don't need 20 machines to educate 100 people. Yes, you can do it in your garden. You can do it wherever you want. I will show you some examples afterwards in the Speed Geeking session. And get and feel knowledge and learning in the moment of need with live data and live feedback. So you will have IoT access to the machines. You see the vital data. You are introduced what you have to do. Next 10 steps to change a recoder. Sorry. And so you have training, but you also have remote support. Once you are stuck, someone is looking through your eyes to your problem. Yes, and we are taking here the HoloLens 2 today. Yes, and maybe in 2 years we will take an Apple device. But this gives us the freedom to use it in front of the machines. Yes, and we also have a fallback scenario using it on iPads. And when we started with extended reality, yes, we said, okay, we don't want to build a light tower inside EOS. We want to have the whole company being on board. Yes, and we said, okay, we have service, we have training consulting, we have marketing, sales, production, HR, and everyone could contribute and benefit from XR. So we made value workshops and said, hey, where can you benefit from? And service said, okay, from remote support, you see PP, but you see also here travel, you see here travel. Yes, you see very often you see remote support, consulting, presentation. So there is really a need inside the company, and due to Corona, it really the pace was enormous. And finally, artificial intelligence in and with extended reality is linking the learning and the working world and bridging the gap between the physical and digital world, including IoT. So this also brings us to the point of quality assurance. So in the past, someone was going to a seminar or a training in our facility in Maisach until Friday, having a wonderful weekend and coming back on Monday. Yes, and then he have to introduce the training to his other 3 employees, his colleagues. Yeah, and you can think about that he wouldn't have made 100% training, maybe 20, 30%, depending on the manuals and how good they are. And then you have individualization. You have competence development, you have XR supported performance support and efficiency improvements, time and quality in work processes, because you don't have to wait for a course. You don't have to book a course. You get the knowledge and the training in the moment of need. So this in the end is bringing knowledge and learning together with your work. And another point, unlearning. Yes, you can just forget what you have done because next time you're doing it will be maybe in 6 months. So we started with extended reality and built a roadmap. We made first a little white box test with our easiest machine back in 2019. In 1 year later, we have had the infrastructure and implemented it and have had an onboarding process and creating from there XR applications. Time is too short to show it here inside, but come to my Speed Geeking session. And we received a lot of external awareness. We have been part of a keynote at PTC in front of 9,000 people at that time without Corona, and 50,000 attendees in the web. Yes, and one of our machines have been on the stage and introducing expert capture, where a system is capturing the knowledge from an expert and taking the glasses off, giving it to someone, and he is doing the procedures. And then it was going further, like here, for example, a 3D printed robot arm, which originally is 2 meters high and weighs 1 ton. You can't carry it with you to make a training, but here now you can do it directly here via the iPad. And all the questions I see in the chat, I will answer afterwards, and latest one-on-one if you have to come back to me. So
3 minutes to go.
Yes, I'm speeding up. But I started 2 minutes late. Okay. Here's a customer example. Yes, printing orthotics, and it was showing the customer why they printed in 3D, and going on with our easiest machine commissioning. Yes, so customer can do it on its own, and So having examples, having here our application which won the award, yes, this great one, the eLearning Award for Augmented Reality, together with NetTrack. And working with HoloLens 2, we have virtual meetings, presentations, and showroom tours. Yes, even in onboarding, for example, now someone is going with a HoloLens through the showroom. And with our colleagues in Singapore, we created the M290 XR Basic Training, which will be an app in the iStore, Apple Store, and Android Store in May. So basic training in virtual and extended reality, and Project of the Year award. So XR samples, like said in the video later. And the last trend is knowledge will find you. So adaptive learning is standard, yes, and so we will divide it into snack learning. Yes, you don't have to make a course of 6 hours. You will have learning snacks, and we will take the competencies of our employees, yes, and see, okay, what do they need to come to the next level, yes, and AI will take away all generic and purely logic-based tasks and free our creative mind. So finally, knowledge management with intelligent AI. Yes, this is very important. The self-learning AI, taking our infrastructure, yes, creating bots on one hand, connecting all these knowledge pods, but knowledge finds people. Yes, and we don't have to dig for information because it's pre-selected for my job role, for my knowledge. So connecting these knowledge pools, AI-supported content creation, drive ideation and innovation, and very important, find experts. Yes, I know nearly 3 years ago, when I joined EOS, to find the right people to talk to for different areas. Yes, and this will be easy in the future. So, and to sum up, yes, and coming to the end, from content to competence, skills, and back. So we started with blended learning. Yes, this has been the core. We created the theoretical knowledge of additive manufacturing. Surrounded by augmented reality, you're going into the machine hall, you have all the machines in front of you, you get the information and learning in the moment of need. Then you have knowledge management. You have a problem, yes, and you just enter the information, and then you get the communication from others talking about the same topics. And then you have competence, skills, and knowledge metrics and management. And what is very important, the focus, automatic and AI-generated content and processes. Yes, eliminating all these manual things. Like, for example, I want to learn something, I have to book a course. I have to wait 3 months until I get a training, etc. pp. Speeding up things, yes. When I come back from a training, I get a piece of paper, I send it to HR. No, we don't do this anymore. Yes, because there is no sense behind it. But in focus is the employee, the learner. Yes, he should be driven and he should be given the best and learning materials. So, ready for your questions.
Thank you, Volker. That was really cool stuff. Thank you very much. We still have 2 minutes left, and there is one question, actually now 2 questions. Maybe you can answer the questions from Cordula Reins. I assume you can see that in the chat. Otherwise, I can also read it.
How to assess the content from the training is really correctly applied by the participants later. How do you include this into competency management? Mm-hmm. Yeah, one very good question, because this is a step we are going to. Yes, we currently are evaluating some AI-based companies working on competencies and mapping and to see how it will fit in the future. Yes, so like said, in 2.5 years we have had a long and stony way, but at current stage we are ready with e-learning and with online learning. We are ready with extended reality in the infrastructure, and now we are working on the knowledge management and on the skill and competencies. So maybe in 1 year, in another session, I can give you the first examples.
Thank you so much.
Great, thank you. There is another question from Sylvester, but Sylvester, I suggest that in order to stick with our schedule, I suggest that you ask that questions in the Speed Geeking session, where Volker also will take part of. And now I would like everybody ask for a big applause for Volker. You can use the reactions or the chat. So thank you very much, Volker, for that great keynote speech.
Thank you very much.
Good. And
it's been an honor.
We come to the second part. We start now with the Speed Geeking session number 1. Lisa will then move you to one of 3 rooms. You don't have to do anything, just click on a little pop-up window to be moved into one of those 3 rooms. And then the Speed Geeking speakers will then jump from session to session. And actually we have 3 key Speed Geeking speakers. That's Martin and Tino. What are you talking about in your Speed Geeking session, Martin and Tino?
Yes, I've thought about talking about artificial intelligence and e-learning, because that would fit into Volker's lecture. So it's just more like a set of questions that we ask ourselves if we deal with that subject. No, so there is at the moment I think there is not very much experience with that. So it's more kind of talking about the near future. So what is really coming on with AI? What will we have in 1 year? What will we have in 2 years? So I think that would be quite interesting, and we could connect to Volker's lecture, the whole thing to his keynote. So that was my idea. So let's hear what Tino wants to talk about.
Great. Hopefully my microphone works. Yeah, it looks good. I'd like to talk about the difference and the difference between tools and problem solving. It means the 9-point problem. Some of us, I think, will know it. I will show it's important to change between lateral thinking and non-lateral thinking, and that's my part.
Thank you, Tino.
Try to combine this.
Yeah.
Volker, I assume we will deep dive into your speech, right?
Totally correct, and really focusing on XR and all these wonderful examples we have, and show you.
Okay, thank you very much. And then session number 3, that's Shaban Ünlü, CEO from NetStrek. Shaban, are you online? What are you talking about?
Hi there. I will talk today about artificial intelligence from the perspective of a software developer. And it's really interesting to know what kind of AI exists on the market, how we can use it in e-learning. And at least we will publish a new product from us that calls Lingui, and I want to make a small product presentation of that.
Okay, thank you very much. And now, Lisa, now you can move everybody to one of the 3 sessions, and the speakers will jump from session to session. We have 10 minutes per session, and I hope you will enjoy that experience.
All right, fasten your seatbelts. We will start in 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Maybe a second that everybody can arrive. And we have 10 minutes. I'm the timekeeper. We have now 35 persons, and you can start.
Okay, so I'll start with that. So the idea is to combine Tino's perspective with mine. So we talk about AI. So all 3 sessions seem to be about AI, so that makes sense too. Thing is asking questions about how can we introduce AI into e-learning in corporate settings in a practical way, not in a science fiction perspective, but just helping us really with problems at hand. So speed geeking, the idea of speed geeking would be that you have approximately 5 minutes input, which would be a favorite idea, a favorite problem of mine in this case. Tino would then add, I don't see Tino yet, but Tino could add then his lateral thinking. So he could just apply his lateral thinking idea to the AI problem. I think that would make sense. So I don't know if he's hearing me right now. So I just start ahead and try to be like 5 minutes. I think we want to talk, so everybody should feel free to talk. So I try to be as short as possible. So just changing to my text so that I cannot take away. So artificial intelligence. So it's on everyone's lips now as a buzzword, but it's a quite confusing field, actually. There are many visions of the future, but there is little practical experience. There are already some software providers like Volker and I don't know what's the name?
Martin,
Daniel?
Martin, a brief question. You don't show a presentation, right? It's just a text.
No. There's no presentation here, so
Okay,
it's just
good.
like talking.
Just
So
to be on the safe side.
Yeah. So just slow me down if I'm too quick, because I think the problem will be the English language on both sides, on my side and on the side of the people who have to hear that. So there are already some software providers in the field of corporate learning like Volker who promise to support the learning managers as well as the learners themselves with AI support. But it's difficult to say to what extent it is really worth taking a closer look. So we have to ask ourselves questions like the following. What concrete benefits can companies and organizations derive from AI applications? Also, your companies and your organizations. So just have a look at your own field. So what concrete benefits do you see, or do you see you as a promise now and in the near future when we design and shape continuing education processes? So do you have the feeling that would help you, that would be something you want to have your hands on? So the second thing is, how can we use AI to adapt our continuing education processes more flexibly to the situation at hand and also to the people involved in each case? So it's not so much a question of how intelligent the AI is. It's very much a question of how can I really use it. So that's maybe that is even more difficult than programming the whole thing. Third point would be, how can we save time and money for everyone involved so that the corporate learning managers, the subject matter experts in the company, and the learners can concentrate on the really important issues? So I think the one point I see as a promise of AI in e-learning is really to save time and money for some tasks that consume too much time and too much concentration of us, from the managers and experts. So it would be great if that could be some help, some automatic help. But yeah, where could that be? So what would we wish for? And the fourth point would be, what AI technologies and AI functions are really there, that are already relevant for our daily work. So where would you go to if you want to use AI for your own e-learning programs and projects? So what is there? So you could have something like focus augmented reality. You could use the other products that are on the market. So what have you heard of from which products? So another point, in which individual phases in the corporate learning process could these AI technologies support us? So from the management of knowledge and learning materials to the compilation of a learning path to actual implementation, so interaction with the learner. So that would be different, no? Just putting the e-learning together, just creating a learning path, and then actually playing it, so showing it to the user. And the last 4 minutes.
We still have 4 minutes.
Last one. So that's great. So how great could the benefits be in a favorable case? So that how expensive and time-consuming would it be to integrate such AI applications into our existing workflows? So maybe it's a great idea to use that, but it would take too much time to just get into the whole thing, to get familiar with AI. Maybe it's just how much work would it be? How much time and money would be needed to just get familiar with the whole thing? So that is a lot of problems. I don't think you will remind all of these questions now, but I hope you will have your own questions, and let's talk about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. It would be great if you could share your thoughts and ideas afterwards as a PDF paper.
I will do that. So
good. Okay. And we jump to Martin, to Tino, sorry.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, I hope, wait a minute, I have to share. So hopefully you can see my screen.
Yep.
Yeah, great. Okay. Yeah, I will talk in 2.5 minutes about videos, points, and hammers. Something about me and my company. EOS is not the same EOS company like EOS from Volker. These are different companies in totally different branches. EOS Group is one of the leading technology-driven financial investor. We are debt collectors. You can see our experience is over 14 years. We offered 20,000 customers, in 26 countries around the world, our service, and we digitalize our service. So in Germany, we started a project to build our own artificial intelligence. It's called speech to text. And yeah, 7,500 people in Germany as employees, and EOS is a part of the Otto Group. So why hammer and 9 pointers? I think hammer and the 9 pointers are often the real problem, not the solution, but they're the problem. Why? Okay, this is the great point. I think we have to make a difference between method, tool, and problem, goal. What is my goal, and what is the right tool to solve the problem? So I think this is the problem, nails, and what is the right tool to drive the nails in the wall or in a tree or something like that. Everybody knows it's the hammer. But now we change the goals and the problems. Do we think the hammer is the right solution? I think not. But most of my colleagues use the hammer for another problem. It's called functional fixation. And I think I will do it. Connect all 9 points with 4 straight lines without subtracting. That's called the 9-point problem. And it's not really easy. I think it was class 11 mathematics, and the teacher gave us this problem. I think I was the only one who could solve the problem. This is the solution. One solution. Most of the children are able to solve the problem in 3D thinking. So, most of us are reacting and looking for a solution with the linear vertical thinking inside the box. But the solution is not inside the box. The solution is outside. You have to go outside the box and create your lines, and then you can solve this problem. It means you have to take a lateral non-linear thinking. And that's the same in the field of learning. It's the same in the field of development for people. Because not every tool, web-based training, video nuggets, or something like that, is the right solution for the problem. Yeah, and when we show the list of skills we have to learn from 2020 to 22, it's from Forbes. I think most of them you can solve when you take lateral thinking. Okay, that's all.
Thank you very much. And the time is over. I learned a new word about the word functional fixation. Thank you very much for that, Tino and Martin. You can now move to the next room. Our audience stays here. And I guess our next speaker, Shaban, is already here. So it goes very fast. Shaban, you can start.
Hi to everyone. My name is Shaban, and I want to talk about AI from the perspective of a software developer. AI has become a buzzword, and many companies use it to decorate their products. And mostly it's okay because there are different forms of AI, and some of them are easier to implement and others are not. Most solution uses the easiest AI implementations that base on conditions. So conditions means if this, then that. Everyone has heard about it, and it is the easiest way to automate clearly defined processes like an example, a chess computer. The next thing, and it's much more difficult, is to teach the computer to think. To teach the computer to think, that means I give the computer really much data. And this data will be analyzed from the computer, and patterns will be found inside this data. So the computer learns to interpret the data. You can help the computer by telling him this is wrong data or this is right data, or you can give him feedback. Also, really exciting or nice is to teach the computer seeing. So we give the computer or the machine image sensors, and this image sensors could make images, and these images could be also handled via deep learning to recognize, for example, defects in products, or to use to object recognition and so on. And at least, and in my opinion, the most difficult thing is language. So we can teach the computer to understand languages. So I can give, for example, text files or audio files, and the computer is able to analyze the information and to retrieve the content, and can also make automatical translations and so on. This will be shown from Florian in a few seconds. At least there are really many kinds of interpretations for AI, and I can talk hours and hours about that. But in the end, all of them is just math and data. And I will give Florian the chance to introduce you to Lingui. It is a product of us that shows you how you can compose several services to make automated translations and speakings. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Florian, and today I want to give you a brief demonstration of our most recent tool named Lingu.ai. This tool will be part of our e-learning ecosystem, from which you can get additional information under www.e5-suite.de. What is Lingu.ai? This tool enables you to automatically perform all of your translation and text-to-speech operation needs at the same time, without even worrying about the underlying API. Under the hood, we already attach many APIs of the major SDK providers and will continue to add even more. But let's give it a try. In this sample, I will demonstrate translation of the summary of this summit to German. So I'll first get the contents of this operation.
Florian, just a question in between from the
input
chat
area, and we'll set up the input language. Right here, I can add additional steps for this operation. The first step I want to do now is translation. So I will do it using DeepL and pick German at the output for this operation. Right now, this step will generate an output in German. So I can now add a follow-up action with an audio output, spoken version. I can now pick the voice I would like to use, and I will pick the German version Konrad, which is a neural language. But this was too easy. So I will add another follow-up action and will pick another German voice from Google. So our input is a German DeepL translation with 2 outputs. But still too easy. I will add another action and will pick translation using DeepL to Dutch. And again, we pick a follow-up action using a Dutch voice. I will pick Fenner here. So our job is configured properly. I select many tasks, and now I want to give it a try. So I click on Run. As you can see, our procession is running, and each step is shown as being processed right now. At this time, we can already get the results of each step while it's still running, but just a second, the full action is now ready. I have different options right now. I can pick the result of the step, the translation to German, which is here in German, and I can give you a demonstration on the
Das SUMMIT Speed Geeking. Nach dem fulminanten Start des ersten SUMMIT.
I'll go back, and all the results can be downloaded as a zip file. I click on it, just downloaded it, I will open it, and you can see the magic. We have different steps here. The first step was the extraction of the language, which can be in a later step translated file like PDF or Word files can be used as an input. The next step was to translate it to German, and even here you can get the preview, the translated version. You can get the sound file.
Das SUMMIT Speed Geeking.
The next step.
Das SUMMIT Speed Geeking nach dem fulminanten Start des ersten SUMMIT Speed.
Just for your ease to compare it. And then we pick to translate it to Dutch. Right now you can see the Dutch version and the Dutch
de SUMMIT Speed Geeking
sound file.
Na de briljante start van de eerste SUMMIT.
All progress is done in real time. You can always see the results. For bigger files, it's very helpful. And you can also save this job and continue to use it later on. All steps can be combined with each other. Just think about translating to a bridge language with DeepL, then continuing translating to another language with Azure, for example. So this was a very short demonstration of our development version, but LinguAI will be offered as software as a service and will be released soon. Just feel free to contact us for further details. Have a good day, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Florian. It's great that you still have a couple of minutes left. There are 2 questions from Sangita in the chat. Which languages are already available, and is a website available?
At least all languages that will be supported from the cloud services like Azure, Google, DeepL will also be available in LinguAI. And the website is currently not available. We are working to release that. So what you really see is the current version or the beta release of the software. But you see, we are really in a good state. So we hope to release it soon in 1 or 2 weeks. You can get in touch with me and with my contact, and I will answer you all questions.
My name is
about
Florian,
that.
and
It's no problem.
today I want to give you a
and
brief
I hope to see you or hear you then.
Okay, great. And we have a question from Petra. I assume you asked that through the microphone.
Yes, I will. I won't put on my camera because then my line will not be sufficient.
No problem.
We are currently working with a company that employs a lot of people with handicaps, and they are looking for an AI that can understand sign language, because they say if you cannot hear, you can of course type something and use your software to read it. And you can, there are also a lot of softwares, pieces in development that can put spoken language into written text. But what you cannot do is you cannot give a presentation where you work as a person and people can see you and you speak with sign language and the software translates what you say into either written or spoken words. Do you know anything about this, or do you have planned anything around that?
Very short answer.
I love the idea. I have to go. Please contact me. I love the idea. We do something similar to ARD and ZDF. Please contact me, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you very much. And it's time to move to the next room for you, Florian and Jaban. And we are waiting here for our last speaking speaker, which should be Volker again. Volker, are you here already?
Yes, I'm there.
Great. Stroke by stroke. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, and it's speeding up, I see. Hello. So looking forward to show you something interesting of extended reality, our way to extended reality and what we have done here. So giving you the impression, like said, EOS is working on industrial 3D printing, yes, and you see all these products printed. And if it comes to the 3D printers, you see here the size, here you see a lot of doors at the printers. And we work with powder and laser to create these printed products. And there are so many parts at one machine, yes. And we took our easiest machine, and here is the example of the commissioning. Here's Daniel entering our showroom, and he is having the HoloLens 2 and doing the commissioning of our easiest machine. So this has been our starting project. Yes, and now you don't see what he is seeing, but later on I will give you a first-person view of what he is seeing right now. And at the first time I've seen the commissioning of this machine, there have been a student having no idea of technology, taking our manuals and showing how bad they are. Yes, and most time he lost between documentation and doing things. Yes, and once he finds the right spot, maybe he have forgotten 2 or 3 steps. Yes, and going back to the documentation. And now everything is eliminated and customer can do it on their own. And additionally, they don't need HoloLens. They even can do it with an iPad, like you have seen. And to give you our roadmap or what we experienced over time with extended reality. So our vision is having the smart factory. Yes, having one control center where you have all your print jobs that are in process, yes, and what is produced in your machine hall, and then you see all the connected machines getting all IoT information. And in a wonderful world, everything works fine all the time, yes. And the first project have been to explain customer what we think what a smart factory is. So based on a piece of paper, we created this XR experience and showed here are 3 3D printers. You have a powder supply. You have AGVs driving around to take the build jobs. Yeah, so that here, for example, you get IoT information. And the second one have been the commissioning of the machine I just spoke about. So I scrub to the next point. And this here have been expert capture. Yes, so our machine in front of the 9,000 people. Here's the expert doing the procedure and capturing every step he is doing right now. Yes, like location or what have to be done, even doing annotations. So taking here pictures, location. And here is the employee taking the glasses, and lower left side, you see what he is seeing. Yes, so now he's doing the same procedure that have been pre-filled by the expert earlier. And here is the example of the 3D printed robot arm. Yes, now it's recognized, and now you can get all the procedures and go through. So if you have any questions, please put them to the chat or open your mic and ask directly.
Yes, just one question. Volker.
Yes.
If the expert makes a failure during recording, what happens then?
Yes, this is what we experienced, that this infrastructure is experimental, I would say. Yes, because then you have to re-record again. Yes, and or you have to rework on this one, which is not so easy today, but they will show us in 2 weeks a new version out of it.
Okay.
So we are at the spearhead, but things are becoming better.
Good.
Okay, so here is the procedure of this robot arm. Like I said, 3D printed. Yes, and now you can explain it without having this real robot arm in front of you. This is taken from an iPad. Here I have had an HR session where we received such a cube, and I said, hey, put some additional information to this cube. And here the next is an example from our customer, from orthotics and prosthetics, and explaining their customer why they use 3D printing to print such soles, for example. Yes, and what are the benefits of 3D printing? So you have the part in front of you, you can tap it for information, why it is the perforation or the flex structure is different in 3D printing, etc. pp. And the next example, this is a very good example, quality production at scale. So originally, before you start a print job, you have to do laser measurements. Yes, and you have to take these measurements, you have to fill out 3 forms, take these 3 paper forms and put them on the staple for 10 years. And you have no value out of it. And we said, okay, let's do a digital version out of it. So now we receive all the data. They are put into a big data. And now you can see how values behave over time. Yes, if a problem is coming up, or what have to, like, for example, have to be done with this machine. So now you make value out of your data, which have been stored previously. Here next is an example from a partner company from us, from Linde. They have this little terminal, and this terminal is responsible for the gas flow, permanent same gas flow in metal 3D printing. And they said, hey, we are going to a fair, and we very seldom have a real 3D printer because we don't have the space. Yes, we just have our small terminal and explain this terminal. Can we have a 3D printer beside of it? And we said, yes, sure. Yes, and we built this app together here with NetTrack, and we added some of these fake IoT information, and you have interactable environment. Yes, you can touch the screen, you can get the information, you can start the video and do the same things you will do in reality, and you can introduce it to your service technicians and explain them what to do if you have a failure with the machine. Yes, and you have your help panel, so that appears, and they follow you. And here is our award-winning app. Yes, and the sense behind is you have this machine. Yes, you see the machine in front of you, so it's recognized it's a machine M290. Everything is fine until now. Yes, and then you are causing an error, and so the error type is played back, and with the 2 information, it's running to the system and looking automatically on the left side in the knowledge base if we do have any information about this. On the right side, you see the learning applications, what have to be done in this case of failure, like here, for example, changing the dosage factor. Yes, so this really makes a situation-based learning scenario. And yes, so here is our example for the app, which is coming out in May. This is in my garden. Yes, so now I can place there one of our machines and get a basic introduction into this machine. And once I'm familiar with the machine and going around and getting even dimensions and what is have to be found where and getting some extra information, I'm entering the next point and can even visit inside, have a look inside the machine. But then let's need to just scrub. So here, for example, you have to make a ricotta blade installation. So you're choosing your tools, and now you are in virtual reality. Yes, you get the tips. And scenario behind is that the university in Singapore have an additive manufacturing course for 30 students per half year, and they went through the course. So for the introduction, you need 30 times the machine time, and you have a lot of damages because not everyone is doing everything right. Yes, like for example, here the build form, the plate. After you change the ricotta, yes, you have to lift it up a little bit. And if you don't lift up the ricotta arm, then you have a crash the ricotta. Yes, so and now they can do it just virtually, and they don't need the machine time and have no damages anymore. And this will be in the Apple Store and Android Store. So this will be the basic training in M290. And this example is during Corona, we have had a customer asking, hey, can you present us your machine? And we said, yes, sure, but you're 2,000 kilometers away. Yes, so, and we made it here with HoloLens, and same is now for employee onboarding. Yes, and doing virtual showroom tours. So I see time is up. So if you have any questions, I will let my LinkedIn information in the general chat later on. And thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me.
Thank you, Volker, and great timing. And we will be brought back in a couple of seconds.
Yes.
Five seconds left. And here we go.
Welcome back.
No, quite a trip. So, hello. So it's my turn now. Is it true? So
yes, it's your turn.
I think I have to introduce Annette. So I'm just going to my points. So hello, Annette. I'm seeing you. So you're project manager of Merck, the German Merck, I think. It's not the US corporation of the same name. So it's dealing with pharma and chemicals. And you are active in 15 countries so far as I can see. And you will bring us some experiences about the e-learning program dealing with compliance, which is dry stuff, so to speak. Anti-corruption policy, dealing with anti-corruption policy from scratch, creating a program. So you have some experience in change management that could be really coming handy for that, I think. So yeah, show us how you did that, what you have learned along the way, what worked and what didn't work. I think that would be, I'm quite curious to hear about that. So please, Annette, let's start.
Hello, Martin. Thank you for the introduction. Please just let me know if you can hear me. Does it work?
Yes.
Everything is fine.
Perfect. So, yeah, I'm with the Merck KGA, and what we did was for the legal and compliance department, we created an anti-corruption e-learning from scratch. So we did not want to use one of those off-shelf e-learnings, which you can have, of course. I mean, if you Google for it, you can find some. But we want to really have one created from scratch. And here you see my starting page. And you can already see that we at MACAGA, we do have a very strong visual branding. And that was one of the points we would like to bring into our e-learning. So, and Lena, if you could go to the next slide, please. So before creating those e-learnings, I was also working as project management in change management in ERP projects. And when you are working projects, you know that at the beginning, you really need to leverage the knowledge and everything. So for this e-learning, I said, okay, I need to collect all the available data which is there. So I collected the training material, all the things which have been already created, our standards and all materials. So I needed to learn about the topic because this was not my main topic. I also needed to learn about the stakeholders. We have a legal and compliance organization which is all around the globe in our countries. So I needed to understand who has which role. And then I started structuring the project because I wanted to make sure that everyone has the same understanding. So I wanted to have some points where I said, okay, at this point, I define the milestone ABC and everybody needs to get there. But I also needed to be clear what is my role and responsibility and who supports me. So I was not working on my own. So we had an external service provider, MIT Solution, who also supported us. But also we had the whole organization from compliance, from the compliance officer, and we needed to make sure who is taking care of what. So I also set up the RACI matrix, which is a very common tool in project management. And Lena, if you could go to the next page, please. So of course, there have been some requirements brought to us. So what shall we deliver? So we need to make sure that the anti-corruption standards is understood. We need to make sure that people know how to recognize, to avoid, and to report any kind of risks, and also to understand the principles and the legal framework from corruption. So we should also present and show that we are in a big organization and we do have different business sectors, and they do have their specifics. So I wanted to make sure that we have different learning paths already available for the different sectors here. And as I showed you already, I mean, we do have a very strong visual brand identity, but we also do have a verbal brand identity. So it's called our Merck narrative. So we always introduce ourselves as a technology and science company to make sure everyone is understanding that we are, future oriented, even though our history is very long, but we are really focused on the future and we're going there. And I mean, anti-corruption is a legal and compliance topic, but we need to translate it to a language that is easy to understand, not trivial, but easier to understand. So these are the main requirements which were brought to us. And Lena, if you could please go to the next page. What have been our challenges? So we want to create awareness about the topic and why is it relevant for each learner. I mean, we did have overall 22,000 learners. So with a different learning path, we needed to create something like, why is it important for you in your role, in your organization, in your business? So you can already see that we need to split up our path in the e-learning to make sure that everyone gets the best information and the nearest to their daily life. And then we have this topic of translation of a complex topic to the reality. And let's see how we did that. And we also said, okay, the implementation of a concept in a modern, interactive and intuitive learning. So, I mean, I can remember those e-learnings where you just have to click and to click and to click and go through it and nearly die going through it. So, of course, we need to make sure that our learners have to do something. So some pages, you have to answer a question, to find some things, so that it's going to be interactive and interesting for the learner and that they can find the story of their daily life. Okay, if we go to the next slide, please. So we started with the content. I mean, content is king, that we all know, but we need to be very precise in legal and compliance topic. So our content experts were always involved. From the very beginning, I took those standards and those training materials from them. We put it into our story, but I already asked them again and again about the feedback. So we had so many feedback loops in there where they could always provide their feedback. Then we said, okay, it's not that we will have one story and then we will have some examples and case studies, but we already divided it. And so we brought into case studies from the different businesses. So it really depends on where you work. And there you can see the different case studies, which is more related to your work then. And overall, I mean, also to raise the acceptance, we thought, okay, we're an international company and we would like to have the e-learning available in 17 languages, which is a quite number of languages. So what we did is we also incorporated our compliance officers in here. So we said, okay, we provided a basic version of a translation, but we needed them to have, again, a review on the translated version and provide us the feedback to also make sure that the verbal branding is also incorporated in there. And so it was really 17 languages written, and but we did have voiceovers only in German and in English. So to have the acceptance in there, so this was a lot of work to work all these paths and also to keep it very close to the different experts. And Lena, if you could go to the next page, please. But now also keeping our focus on the learners. How did we define who are our learners? So in cooperation again with our compliance department, we discussed who needs to have this e-learning. So we identified them on their role in the company and the associated risk profile. So on the one hand side, the role, but we also said, okay, beginning from a defined management role, they should be all in there, but also then on the role in the company and the defined risk profile, we defined 22,000 learners who were assigned to this course. And now how can I leverage my message? So when I started with the e-learning, I mean, there was so many input I collected, and there were so many topics which we were talking about. And in my first version, I just was, jumping from topic one to the next, to the next, to the next. And afterwards I said, okay, what did I learn? I don't get it. And then I said, oh no, I need a story behind it. So we said, okay, we need to link those topics again. And so we created an avatar. He was called John. So to say, let's accompany John in his daily life. What does he do in his daily life? Of course, he has different roles because you remember we have again those business specific paths here. And so John, we accompanied him about a week. And there were several situations where he had some offers, situation, risks, and having a story behind it is so much easier for your brain to link those topics. And this was, I think, also one of our key success factors, to link it with a story. So really storytelling for me was one of our major success stories here. And the increase of the acceptance, I already told you that we have 17 languages. So nobody who is shy in speaking English or is not really good enough in understanding it when you just offer an English version, now they found their languages. So, I mean, this was really a huge effort to do. But in the end, it was worth it. So we did receive a lot of positive feedback about this, because then you're really close to the learners. You offer them their language, and they can really understand it and make sure that they understand it in the correct way. And not only their language, but also the business sector specific case studies brought it back to their daily life of their business and their working environment. So Lena, if we could go to the next slide. So what are my key learnings of the project? I mean, I had to make sure that my stakeholders and me, we have the same understanding. And this is on different levels. I mean, of course, the order came from our management, and I have to make sure that they and me, we do have the different understanding, and that I keep them informed about the process and where we are. And but also, I mean, I told you that I was together with all those compliance officers, and also here I need to make sure that they are knowing where we are. Or for example, when we did the translation, I said I would like to do a briefing session for them to understand what is their role. To understand, they do not need to translate it, but they just have to give us some feedback of translation. So also those exchanges with stakeholders was very important for us. So key learnings is the reflection of the visual and the verbal branding identity. Of course, for me, it was in the beginning a bit challenging because, I mean, we do have a very strong visual branding identity, but in the end, it was also a help because then you have a framework in which you are working. And also you can give this also to your external partner if you work with one. And here it was also very helpful and then creative composition of the e-learning. The design to be easily understandable and appealing to the employee who are not anti-corruption experts. I mean, this is the main thing, to come down with the main messages, but not losing, the overall framework, and giving them all the information that they need, but not losing, the depth of the topic itself, because I mean, it does have a lot of impact if anti-corruption is in your organization. And storytelling and business sector specific case studies, I mean, it was a lot that we had to handle. And so you need to bring together all the different things and always providing feedback to your stakeholders, make everybody included in there. So that was quite challenging, but I can tell you from my perspective, it was absolutely worth it. So it was a super interesting project, and it was quite successful at the end. We have a lot of positive feedback, and in our organization, the learners get it assigned. But after some days, and in the organization, they exchanged some experience. Some of our employees also self-assigned this e-learning because they said, "Oh, I heard such interesting stories about it. I want to do it as well." So, wow, what a progress in that. And on the next 2 pages, I want to give you just an example. How does it look like to bring everything together? So here again, you can see our very strong branding identity of Merck. And this is how it looks like. It was quite long. I mean, you can see here page 1 from 42, but we have a completion rate, a very, very high completion rate in this. And Lena, if you go to the last page, so you can see all these branding identities in there, bright colors, but also identified colors. We are not free in changing colors or anything because that's our branding. Yeah, and that was our Merck KGaA Global Anti-Corruption e-learning. Thank you for your attention. And if we're already free to have some questions, but Martin, I'm not able to hear you.
Yeah, right. So I just put me on hold. So I don't know whether we have time for the questions here. So you can ask questions definitely in the Speed Geeking session because everybody will meet Annette there. So one question I have is, did you have learner profiles? Did you use user scenarios for learner profiles? That's a question from Josh from the USA. Or yeah.
No, it was more based on the role in the company. So it was, we did not have learner profiles for that.
The roles were the profiles, so to speak. Yeah.
And the e-learning is one of our possibilities to bring the content to the legal and compliance organization. I mean, we do have other topics as well, other channels. But for the e-learning, we just have those profiles, which is based on the role in the company.
Okay, thank you. So Another question I've seen was about the neural stress, so the stress you have looking too much time at a screen. So the stress for e-learners, so to speak. So was that in any case, was that a point that you thought about and did you design for that? So for the real stress people have using your tool.
My question.
Yeah, so we
similar.
So we made sure that they can jump out of the e-learning and come back again. Yeah. So they do not have to. Yeah. Do that. They do not have to do it at once, but they can. Okay, I have now 20 minutes. I will start with it if I'm not able to do it at once. And also we wanted to make, those sessions, also a bit entertaining with questions, and it's not meant to be super strong questions in between. We also had some kind of fun questions.
Could you do it on mobile?
Yes. Yes,
too,
yes, you can do it on mobile.
Because that would be more easy. It's more laid back then. Yeah.
So that was our idea as well. If you have, I don't know, you're on your way to work, you have maybe some minutes and then go into and check on it. Yeah.
So there was another question. How much effort took it to build the course? So what was the overall workload?
Martin, I don't want to interrupt you, but we have to start the Speed Geeking sessions, and that will be available in the Speed Geeking session. I would lead over to Tino to prepare which speakers will be in the Speed Geeking session for now.
Yeah. Thank you, Lisa. Okay, Speed Geeking session. We have 3 sessions again. Annette from Merck is in the first session. My question for you, what is the most extraordinary language?
For me, it was interesting to see that we have, for example, Chinese and traditional Chinese for Taiwan.
Oh, okay.
So that was also, so I wasn't even aware of that there are 2 versions of Chinese available. And but everything which you can't read really. This is always, you don't have an idea of what you're having in front of you. So that was always interesting. But of course, you have the pictures, but the text, no chance, of course.
Great, thank you. So you can ask your questions to Annette again in the first session. The second session is with Polly and Patrick from Puma. Polly, Patrick? Okay. I found out that you distribute your products in over 120 countries. And my question for you is, in which country would you like to travel? Hi? Can you hear me? There you are. You're not in Russia.
Ton ist an. Unsere Ton ist an. Hi everyone. Sorry for technical issues.
Yeah, no problem.
We can hear you. Okay. You're distributing your products in over 120 countries. It's right. It's correct. Okay.
Yes.
Good. Great. Which is your favorite country? In which country would you like to travel from this 120? Okay. Patrick?
Chile.
Great. South America. Yeah.
I would go to Portugal right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Great. And Polly and Patrick, can you answer some other questions in the second session? The third session is Konrad from FCT Academy. Hello, Konrad.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
You think a blended learning is a submarine?
Well, collaborative learning is the submarine in blended learning. And so what we will do in this session, we will look where the submarine is, and I'm sure we will find it.
Oh, great. What would be a fishing vessel?
A what?
A fishing vessel.
A fishing vessel. Well, fishing vessel, I don't think it's suitable for collaborative learning, blended learning. A submarine is much better.
Oh, okay, great. Konrad inside the third session. So, Lisa, it's your turn.
Here we are again. Houston to crowd. Are you ready for the next Speed Geeking session? I will beam you up in 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
So, hello everybody. Is Alexander here?
Yes, of course.
Alexander, you are. If you like, you can take. You can be the timekeeper in that session. Is that okay?
Okay.
Good. Great.
Okay, and then I would like to get your questions. Do you have any question about my, about our KGA anti-corruption e-learning, or is there any topic which you're especially interested in?
Maybe I can start on it because there was still one questions left in the chat from your talk before from Mr. Kuhlmann. What the hell is digital maturity?
Digital maturity?
Yeah, that was a question in the chat. I assume this is focused on your presentation. Maybe not, but.
Maybe not, no.
Okay, good.
No, that was not part of my presentation.
Good, okay, good.
So, but we did have the last question, which I was not able to answer, is how long did it take? And it took me about 15 months to have it implemented and live. So, and there was a lot of, of course, preparation before that. And even before we were able to see the first version of it, we had to write our storyline. And that was super interesting because in the beginning we did have a different approach. We were sticking to the documentation which we had. So we really went to this standard and said, okay, there are different topics which we would like to go through it. And just after I saw this is not compatible with my brain structure, I invented then John, our avatar, who then had to give his story and then checking with different people. And then I felt it was super easy, not super easy, but easier than to have those topics available and to follow up where we are and why is it so important. And also to, then to provide examples to first of all, to have an impression, there is a situation which is now going into this direction of anti-corruption, to identify the situation, and then also to see what can I do with it. So it's not always, the user is not always the bad guy who is really wanting to start a corruptive situation, but maybe it's just by accident, he's just coming into those situations. And so we wanted to make sure that he's able to identify the situation and then reflect the situation and say, okay, what can I do? How can I behave? But also, how can I report it? And that was one of our goals, where we also provided very positive feedback. Do we have any other questions meanwhile?
Yes. Can you see the chat on it?
Just give me a second. Okay. Okay. Did you also have to integrate national legal differences, not only legal challenges, but also system and cultural specifics? So actually, we did it on such a level that we did not have to do it, but we checked it, of course, with our legal department. Is there anything which needs to be taken into consideration? Yeah. So, but at the end, it was on a level where we said, okay, this can then be rolled out based on the businesses, not based on the countries. So here. Do we have one standard worldwide? Could you also diverse? No, we do have different standards available, but it's also, we have the laws and regulations coming outside our organization, then we have our standards, and then we have the local law, of course. And we always have to distinguish who is matching what. So it could be one direction, but also the other direction. So of course you have to make sure that all those standards and regulations are taken into consideration. Was it easy to involve the subject matter experts in the analysis phase? Actually, yes, because they were very interested in it. They were curious to see how can you present a topic, which is so, such a huge topic, and they were happy to be asked about it. So yeah, they were super open, and they invested time, and I did not have problems to involve them. So it was really a very good collaboration with my colleagues here from compliance area. Yeah, we were lucky. That's right. Anybody else would like to share also their experience in those topics?
Maybe in the meantime, what about the production? Do you have an internal learning media team, or did you collaborate with external vendors?
So the production was done by an external vendor, MIT Solutions. We just included it then in our learning management tool, but the production was done externally.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
And was it just only the learning module, or did you also add some additional learning features, such as maybe a learning community, or maybe tandem teams or something like that?
So it was this module is one part of our overall learning plan, let me say. And so we do have different learning modules for the users, but for each topic we have identified user groups. So we also have different channels here, not also the e-learning, but also sharing, of course, the standards and making sure that they are read and understood. And also repeating the e-learnings every second year, so to make sure that it's really also well understood in the organization and coming back with the topic. Yeah. So Ruth, I already sent you a message via LinkedIn with some of my thoughts regarding my experience in the digital training design and the development on a new standard. Thanks. Okay. Yeah, I'm happy to get your contacts in LinkedIn. I'm happy to answer your questions also afterwards. Of course, this presentation will also be shared within the community here.
Other questions? Or share your experiences. That's also interesting.
Yeah, so for me, it was also very important to have all, I mean, I already told it, but to have all the stakeholders on a regular base involved with the different, milestones I defined. And the organization maybe was not that much used to a strong project management. And this is what helped me a lot, my experience in project management, to have, bringing all points and dots together and having everyone on the same knowledge level. And also keeping them on the same knowledge level. I mean, you always face it in a project. There will be delays, there will be problems. We also faced that there was a law rework on the very last stage, and we had everything ready, and we had to rephrase several things. And I mean, in an e-learning with 17 languages, that was quite of a challenge then in the very last meters. But we managed it because, I mean, I always was very transparent with everybody to say, okay, this is our problem. We need to solve it. If we don't want to risk our go live, we just need to rush right now. Yeah. So that's always the case, to say, okay, keep them informed, be honest, be transparent. Yeah. Act as a team.
And there's one question left from Petra.
This is not a question, but just sharing some knowledge. I come from a corporation, and we do multiple language courses as well in full animation. And if you go to other languages, make sure that you get a sample of the speakers and send them to the country, because we had a full record of a Chinese course, and we later found out that it was a Taiwanese speaker, which obviously sounds like, for a German, a Bavarian accent. And it was rejected, and we had to redo it again.
Wow.
And so you cannot just take any speaker, but the people from your company who have to listen to the course, they need to say, well, this is a good speaker for us.
Thanks,
Great.
Petra. Absolutely right. Yeah.
Thank you. Now, Annette, you can jump to the next room. Thank you very much for your content, and we can stay here and wait for Polly and Patrick.
Okay, I thought I was next here because I was in 3, and so I should go in 1 now.
That's okay, that's okay, Konrad. Then you go next. Okay, no problem. And
yeah, absolutely no problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just share my screen, and here we are. And so let's start. Whoops, was too fast. Let's start to sail out to the sea looking for the submarine of blended learning. And we already know the name of the submarine. It's collaborative learning, but we will have a look at why this is collaborative learning, why this is a submarine. So in order to find this submarine, we have first of all to have a look at collaborative learning within blended learning. So if we talk about collaborative learning is the submarine of blended learning, we have to have a closer look at collaborative learning in blended learning. And in order to do this, we can use a very simple structured method. We can just have a look at different learning levels in a blended learning program. And there we have basically 5 levels. The first level is face-to-face training, which is inside of blended learning. Then we have the live online events, the webinars as a second component. Then we have collaborative asynchronous learning, third component, and component number 4 and 5, self-organized learning with online tutor and without online tutor. Now, if we look at, or if we look for our submarine, then if we say collaborative learning, it's a submarine, we have to look for online group work, which is basically in these 2 levels, live online events, collaborative asynchronous learning. So we have to have a closer look at online group work. And online group work has a couple of components, and I want to have a look at 3 components, and there we will look whether we find the submarine. So the building blocks, the components of online group work, there are many out there. I will focus on 3 of them. On the one side, technologies. On the second side, methods. And on the third side, I cannot talk anymore. I'm talking the whole day today. Third component, third building block is a problem, a challenge. If you don't have a problem, collaborative learning doesn't work. People want to solve a problem where they can learn on. So these 3 components are the components which we will have a closer look at. So let's start with the technologies. If we look at collaborative learning technologies, then we can split the technologies in 2 portions. The one portion is synchronous technologies, like WebEx or Microsoft Teams, where we are in at the moment, like Zoom, like Adobe Connect. You all know these animals. These technologies are used for collaborative learning, but they are, of course, and all of you know this, used in the business for collaborative working, for virtual teamwork, and so on. So we have a link between collaborative learning and virtual teamwork in a company. And if you look at the asynchronous technologies, Confluence, Slack, Microsoft Teams, it's both, it's synchronous and asynchronous, Jammer and whatsoever, we use it in collaborative learning environments. So, for example, some of you will know Jane Hart in Great Britain. She uses Slack for her courses, for her collaborative learning courses. These technologies, once again, you find it in virtual teamwork. So there once again is a link between collaborative learning and virtual teamwork. Let's have a look at the second block, collaborative learning methods. There we have to identify how do we want to work together to come to a collaborative learning solution. So we have to set up roles and responsibilities. Who in the learning team, in the virtual learning team, is responsible for what? We have to think about the communication channels. How do we use them? How do we set them up? Where do we do what? We have to think about online meetings. How can we moderate them so that we have results in our learning circles, in our learning cycle? And of course, in a virtual learning group, difficulties can arise. Of course, technical difficulties, but also human difficulties, conflicts, and so on. We have to solve them. And there are many other methods. And once again, you see the link between collaborative learning on the one side, virtual teamwork on the other side. Well, and the second block, we need a problem, we need a challenge in order to make people motivated to work in a collaborative learning environment. And this is exactly the same in normal business. We have a problem, we have a virtual team, and they have to solve it. So this is now something where we see the link and where we see the submarine. If we look at blended learning, and if we look at collaborative learning in blended learning, then we see that we need technologies, methods, a problem, and much more, so that collaborative learning works. And if we send our submarine to the other side, and there it goes up again, then we have the virtual teams. And they need exactly the same. They need technologies, methods, a problem to work as a virtual team in business. So what does this mean? This means if we have a blended learning course for whatsoever, project management, digital issues, soft skills, leadership issues, and if we have collaborative elements in there, people learn as in a submarine on a second level how to collaborate in a virtual environment successfully. And if they transfer this into their virtual teamwork, then they can improve the virtual teamwork, although they have learned something completely different. And this is why we talk this as a submarine. And this submarine, it helps to link learning and working. This is what a lot of companies now are dealing with. How can we link learning and working? And the submarine collaborative learning is a key to it. And so whenever you do blended learning, integrate a kind of collaborative learning so that people learn how to deal in virtual teams. Now, to end with, I just want to tell you a little bit about me and my company. I myself, I'm working in the online learning world since 1997. I founded in 2009 the FCT Academy, and what we are doing here is we offer some courses for training and learning and development stuff. For example, to become a blended learning designer, e-learning author, and so on. These are all courses where we have a strong collaborative element in there, and we have a strong practical element in there. And on the other side, we offer consulting in helping companies to introduce blended learning, instructional design, and so on. And beside courses, beside consulting, you see the team, we have a lot of fun with this stuff. So this is what I wanted to tell you. And I think I'm basically very good in time. So I think, Daniel, we should have a little time for questions, if there are any.
Yes, we have still 2 minutes left. Thank you, Konrad. Are there any questions? Maybe you can just stop your screen sharing, then you can see everybody can see this chat. Great, thank you.
Let me see.
Let's see yep, we have a note from Alex. Thanks, Alex. Any questions to Konrad, either through the chat or through the microphone? Maybe one question to your metaphor, Konrad. Why do you call it a submarine? Why did you come up with that metaphor?
Because it's basically invisible what the people learn. They learn their normal stuff. They learn, as I said, they learn project management or whatsoever. And it's for them, first of all, completely invisible that beside this, they also learn how to work collaboratively. And this is very important for the trainer of a blended learning course, that he brings this up and he says and reflects with the team on it. Yeah. He says, you have now done a subject matter thing, but now let's think about our collaboration. And for example, we have some kind of virtual group work in it, and there's always at the end a reflection portion where we tell the people, now think of virtual teamwork. And then they see, oh, we have not thought about it. That's why we call it a submarine.
Yeah. I mean, Josh Bursin speaks about learning in the flow of work. And I think collaborative learning is a great vehicle to really do that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, exactly.
Good. So we still have some seconds left, but I guess if there are no other questions, you can just jump to the next session, Konrad, and we wait here for Paulie and
okay. So bye-bye to everybody, and thanks, Daniel, for showing this through. See you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, and now we have our third speech with Paulie and Patrick. Are you already here, Paulie and Patrick? I assume they still change the room. So we still wait a little bit here. Okay, we ended a little bit too fast. Good. Any other maybe remarks or learning stories about collaborative learning which you would like to share here? As you know, this is by the way, one of my key topics. I did my PhD thesis 20 years ago about e-collaboration. I think this is really a key topic for modern learning environments, that you focus on collaborative learning.
Yep. Maybe I could ask you, because I thought I don't have the time. Maybe in the model, one could substitute or complement the word problem challenge with a common objective.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is also one experience. One experience I have, that you don't need to have a problem in order to learn. Yeah. Actually, if you don't have a problem, it's sometimes easier because you don't have emotional distractions.
Okay, it's maybe a question, how do you define the word problem? Yeah, okay. Yeah. But thanks for that. Great. And I'm looking into our participant list. Is Paulie and Patrick here?
No, not yet.
Not yet, Alex? Yeah.
Not yet.
So I hope they will find soon the right room. And we also mentioned Josh Bursin, who have spoken about learning in the flow of work. I think that's a very important contribution, and I just try to share that with you in the chat. Just a moment. I already found it.
Hi, everyone.
Okay.
Hello.
Great. The floor is yours.
Ours?
Yep.
Thanks a lot.
Cool. Thank you very much. So we had a couple of technical issues in the last round, so we were jumping from room to room. We did not prepare any slides for that session because we will be having our keynote afterwards, and we thought it's also good to have a chat with you guys. So what we try to encourage you now is to talk to us, to talk to the rest of the people here, especially about learning development. So for doing that, we've prepared a couple of questions, but feel free to also simply jump in, unmute yourself, use the chat function so that we have a good conversation. We all know that things have changed in the last year, and we don't want to talk about COVID too much now. But obviously, especially for learning and development, there were some major changes. And it would be interesting for us to understand or to get to know how many of your trainings, maybe in percentage, have transformed from in-house to digital trainings.
And then we will share with you how much it happened by us. Yeah. So let's have a look at the chat. What's going on there? Just feel free to drop a number or percentage amount of trainings which have moved from classroom format to the virtual one.
Oh, wow.
100%, 80%. Wow.
That's quite a lot.
80 is a new goal. 75. Okay. Let's say 75. Yes. Okay. Keep going. Anything else? Something different, probably. Some old fans of good classroom training. Let's see if there are some.
Would any one of you who commented in the chat like to share how it went? The transition from, let's say, 100% face-to-face trainings to 80 or 75% virtual trainings.
Would be funny. Yes, Ankita.
It went with a lot of work. It was quite frustrating in the beginning for myself. I was anxious like a beginner in that field. And after some time, when I got used to it and when I did a lot of learning myself, it went quite well. Honestly speaking, at the moment, I'm really enjoying that I don't have much travel time. That, going to work is just 5 steps from my, living room to my office. I nevertheless don't think that you can do everything online, but it was a good experience for me to learn and teach, or, facilitate rather, at the same time. So every time it was a learning experience for myself. And now I really enjoy having a new kind of flexibility and enjoy having a new kind of skill.
Definitely. Yes, indeed. That's what we also notice. Not each training can be moved into the very new format. And as you said, it's a lot of work behind it, changing the format. And also that's why changing the content, because not every content is virtually also adaptable, definitely. And we promised you to share with you the percentage of our trainings, which we moved so far into virtual format. And it is, Patrick will tell you now.
It's way less.
Yes.
So it's not 100%, it's not 80,
yeah.
It's not even 75. It's around, we can tell very precise, but it's around 40%. Yeah. So a couple of, as Polly mentioned, a couple of trainings were pretty easily being transferred into virtual format. But there are many trainings where we also face challenges because it's simply tricky to, for example, have a presentation skills training for physical presentations on a virtual basis. So that was tricky, and a couple of more. So
leadership is also a topic which is suffering at the moment a lot, but luckily we have great support from the e-learning side when we keep we can keep our leaders up to date with new leadership skills, at least with e-learning sources. Yeah.
And it's interesting also to pick up the point of Sangeeta before. We've been talking about digital skills and digital competencies that we all need for years now. And now we are basically forced to develop ourselves with digital skills. So we now all own these skills just like that because we had to. And we saw that in training development too. We can totally share what you said. We became more digital just because we had to.
Which is a good side of everything what's happening. So it pushed a lot. And also, interestingly, pandemic time helped us to raise the engagement level of people doing e-learning, because before it was a way harder to engage learners to use e-learning ways. They all wanted to go to in-house trainings, to classroom trainings. And then when pandemic kicked in, it was a way easier to communicate all the offers we have on the e-learning side, and people just realize, okay, this is the way we can go and keep learning. Then they just consume it, which is also a good side of it. So everything has positive sides as well, right?
True. We do have prepared a couple of more questions, but looking at the time, 2 minutes left. So maybe a quick one. What are the hard topics in your company at the moment in regards to learning development? Are there specific categories or specific themes that you see at the moment that your people really demand from you or demand from your learning development teams?
Learning snacks.
Learning snacks?
Interesting. It's like learning nuggets, but learning snacks is getting delicious. Yes.
Yeah, learning snacks, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much a must already. We're not possible to do any in-house trainings, or let's say we're not really allowed to do 8 hours trainings on a virtual basis, because we all know after 3, 4, maybe 5 hours, there is not much of engagement anymore. So learning snacks or learning nuggets is really like the way we should go, and we will go forward. 1 minute left. Over Zoomed. Yes. It's good that we have a Zoom call at the moment. Speaking about over Zoom. Yeah, definitely. I think that opens up a new topic of really being mindful, talking about resilience, talking about stress management, emotional stability, and stuff like that is getting more and more important. I want to say it wasn't important before, but now we see that it's even more important.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a good roundup, right?
Being mindful.
So shall we go to the presentation?
We can go back to the main hall. Yep. And then we are ready for the last keynote, which you will bring us.
We are thrilled. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Hi there. Welcome back. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
We will just wait a second until everybody is back again. Ten seconds left. Everybody will come back. Here we go.
So, hi.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. So, hi. So, how did it go?
Definitely better than the session before.
Great. So
we found the right room.
So brilliant.
As Pumas, we like to explore other lands, countries, and cultures. So we were wandering around. And it was also insightful, though. Yeah.
Yeah. Great for us too.
Great. Thank you very much. Yes. So Lisa, give me a sign. Everybody on the main session.
Yeah. Well, you can start.
I can start. Great.
Yes.
I am really proud to introduce, not really, Polly and Patrick from Puma. And we learned from both. They like to travel to Chile and Portugal. Yeah. Okay, great. And I learned from you that your company distributes, in more than 120 countries, your products. Great. Puma is the 4th biggest sports brand around the world. Really? Okay.
It's getting better every year.
Okay. Old data's great.
We got fresh results, so
now Psst, everybody, or is it okay?
It's okay completely. So I mean, now we can.
It's not an insight. It's
spread the word. Yeah.
Good, great. And you have LMS, an own and unique LMS, and this LMS, all courses are available in different languages.
Oh yes.
True. Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure if it's unique, but we do have a LMS where we pretty much put everything that we have in there to make it available for everyone globally.
Mm-hmm. And what? Yeah, myself wrote to Polly. I'm actually from Portugal, so if you need any tips and cool spots, just hit me up. Great.
Thank you very much.
Later, Marcel. I think it's your turn.
Fantastic.
Polly, Patrick?
We are thrilled.
Thank you very much. So we have prepared a couple of slides for you guys. And Polly's going to start sharing now.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. I just wanted to...
All good.
So that people still can enjoy the picture. So now I share my screen. You see our presentation.
All right. Hopefully you can all see our presentation.
Hold on a second.
Not yet.
It will lead.
Wait.
Okay. Just let us know.
Here we go.
Perfect. So we thought we were going to start with a very quick introduction round. So as you can see, I'm sitting here with my lovely colleague, Polly, who is going to share a couple of words about herself.
Definitely my pleasure. My name is Polly. I've been working at Puma since July 2019. Fantastic journey so far, together with Patrick, my colleague, overseeing such topics inside of learning as learner engagement, communication of our offers, as well as classroom trainings and leadership development program inside of our fantastic company. Originally, I come from Russia, from Moscow. Was born in Siberia and have been traveling around the world, working, studying, and now I landed in Franconia in Bavaria and enjoying my working experience here together with Puma, fantastic employer and top employer in Europe so far. So cannot complain a lot.
Thank you,
what about you, Patrick?
Hi, everyone. Hi to all onliners. I'm Patrick. I'm with Puma now for around 6.5 years already. Also part of our learning development team here in Herzogenaurach, in our headquarters in the middle of Bavaria, let's put it this way. I'm taking care of the fields of digital learning and the field of agility and agile ways of working at Puma. And today we want to show you on the rather top line level our Drive Your Learning e-learning campaign that we rolled out in 2020 on a global level. Before we kick off our presentation, we want to show you a big video to bring you into, let's say, the Puma spirit. Yeah. So, and we hope it's going to work.
Yes. If not, we have a plan B, so don't worry. Let's see.
Not gonna work.
Yes, it's gonna work.
Are you ready? It's time. Time to move forward. To set your sights on the future. Can you see it? Can you feel it? It's right there. Right in front of you. Breathe in. Breathe out. Open your eyes. Visualize. What do you see? Your vision of greatness. Own it. Taste it. The truth is, if ever there was a time to push forward, to trust tomorrow, to embrace your vision, it's now. When you believe it, you'll see it. Simple as that. Only see great.
Yeah, only see great. That's pretty much the credo that we try to embed in everything that we do. Showing you what Puma is all about. We've heard it before. We distribute our products in more than 120 countries all around the world. Puma was founded in 1948 in a, let's say, small town in the middle of Bavaria, Herzogenaurach, where our headquarters is still located. At the moment, we employ around 14,610 employees worldwide, including our corporate functions, as well as our retail business. In total, in these 120 countries, we have 853 own Puma stores and Puma outlets. From a distribution point of view, I'm talking about our sales split, we do around 75% of all our business in wholesale, and the rest of 25% is coming from a direct-to-consumer business. What do we produce? Pretty easy. We produce footwear, we produce apparel, and we produce accessories. Besides trying to not just only create and develop, but also market the best sports product for not just only athletes, but also everyday people, we try our best to build the greatest employer brand ever. So obviously we have received a couple of awards, which you can see on the right side. But I guess the most important award that we have won in 2021 is the eLearning Journal Award, together with our partners from Good Habits. Shout out to the Good Habits team and Chrissy, who is doing a tremendous job. We're pretty proud of our award, and we will guide you through our journey of the campaign that's behind the award. By doing so, and pretty much what you can expect from us within the next, let's say, 50 minutes, is that we want to give you a top-line intro in our status quo in 2019, where the whole journey started, where we had first ideas on how we want to implement a new e-learning campaign. Then we move on with a quick solution. So this is basically what we did by telling you how we implemented it, how we utilize it. And I guess the more exciting part would then follow up, presented by Polly, which is going to be the communication. There's pretty exciting stuff there. And last but not least, we want to present a couple of facts and figures, just because we all like numbers. Continuing with our status quo. So what was the situation in 2019? And we entirely focus on our training landscape at the moment, with a slight focus on e-learning. So overall, in our training portfolio, we had around 95% of all our trainings, which were in-house trainings, which was pretty common. We all like in-house trainings. Mm-hmm. Everyone likes in-house trainings. Most of these in-house trainings are conducted by external trainers, or pretty much were conducted by external trainers, which is still the case. And we entirely focus on soft skills there. On the other hand side, when talking about e-learnings, we only had around 5% of the whole training landscape being covered in a digital format. Within those 5% e-learnings, it was basically Puma-specific trainings that we used for onboarding, telling our new employees what Puma is all about, how our products are being created, and so on. But the rest of it was pretty much compulsory trainings, mandatory or legally required trainings. And we all know that in most of the cases, these trainings are simply not the most exciting ones. Yeah. So we had the emerging need coming from the business, but also seeing a great importance and relevance of really developing a e-learning portfolio for our global employees. So we had a couple of key requirements, and we were pretty clear that we need to tick the box on every aspect. Otherwise, it would simply not make sense. First, we wanted to offer a global e-learning offer without any limitations. That means we don't want to make specific e-learnings available for specific target groups. We just wanted that every employee, regardless of location, regardless of hierarchy level, regardless of job level, has the same e-learning offer he or she can access. Second, digital, obviously we talk about e-learning, but also mobile first. It was really key to make all of our e-learnings and digital trainings accessible on our smartphones, because we all know, we look at this guy at least
4 hours a day, minimum.
Yeah, pretty much the same amount of time that we look in our computer. So that was key. It should be fully on demand. When we face a certain issue or challenge, we cannot wait 2, 3, 4 weeks for a training. We want to have the solution right now. It should be self-driven and self-controlled learning, meaning that we do not want to have heavy approval steps before we can access e-learning. In the end, there is no approval at all, so everyone can access e-learnings without having the manager need to approve or something like this. We wanted to have it easy accessible. We mentioned that already. In our learning management system, that means our global offer is completely embedded in our learning management system, Workday Learning. That's pretty handy because you simply have one point of entry. There's just one app on your smartphone that you need in order to learn. And in the end, what's always important when we speak about learning, we need a high degree of transfer in order to make the best out of our learnings. So how does the solution look like? We basically have 5 key pillars that we focused in 2020. First one, LinkedIn Learning. I think most of you already know it's completely video-based learning. In total, we have integrated more than 17,000 e-learnings from LinkedIn Learning in Workday Learning. And it's a fully on-demand solution. No need to wait, no need to sign up. Everything is integrated, no accounts needed. Pretty handy. Second, and again, this is the team we won the award with, is Good Habits. Good Habits is basically, for those of you who do not know, it's classic e-learnings. E-learnings about certain soft skills, but in the meantime also hard skills, lasting between an hour and 3 hours. So it's really e-learning. The positive thing about Good Habits is that they come along with a certain twist. And we had the feeling that this certain twist pretty much perfectly matches our values at Puma, which is being disruptive, being different, let's put it this way. The third pillar, peer learning. Because having a library of external content does not mean that this covers pretty much every need. We know that we have a lot of knowledge within the company, and if you want to know something from a certain colleague who's not available at the moment, it can be quite tricky. So we implemented a couple of digital tools that help us to create digital content, can be easily shared with everyone in our learning management system globally, especially, for example, in our onboarding process. This is pretty handy. Fourth key pillar, language learning. We sit in Herzog, again in Bavaria, Germany. But in total, we have more than 70 different cultures in our headquarters. So there was a huge demand for language training. And we simply couldn't cover that anymore with in-house trainings. It's tough. So we moved to a fully digital solution, which is app-based. And people like it. They love it because they're on their smartphone anyway. And if there's a push notification coming in, asking you a question in Italian, perfect. In the end, the last pillar, training and programs. We do have a couple of global training programs that we tried to transform in a digital way. That includes our leadership programs, but also, for example, our Agile Coach program, where we educate Agile coaches internally. This is happening since 2021, fully digital. How did we implement that? On the slide, we focus on LinkedIn and Good Habits because these were the two key players for our e-learning campaign, for our Drive Your Learning campaign. We launched LinkedIn Learning in January last year with a big bang. So we launched all these 17,000 courses in one moment, giving access to everyone globally and basically communicating it as, here it is, feel free to learn. We did it differently with Good Habits. With Good Habits, we wanted to launch it in 3 waves. So the first wave was really about creating awareness for e-learning. As you know, from the beginning, we didn't have too many e-learnings, so we had to create a certain awareness around e-learnings. In the second wave, after creating that awareness, we wanted to keep the momentum. So we again launched a couple of new contents. And in the last wave, we wanted to, and we did obviously, creating a habit. People should be getting used to learning in a digital way, learning with e-learnings. And now, I mean, in difficult times, people need to learn digital anyway.
So maybe something to add to it. What is our big aim is, we wish that people don't go and Google things. We wish that people go and Google things in our learning management system. Yeah.
Exactly. How did we utilize, and I think there's no need to go too much into detail, also looking at time because communication is a way more exciting. We have split our learning offer in 2 pieces. First, operational learning, and second, strategic learning. The operational learning is really about on-demand, fully self-driven, you could call it in-between learning. This should cover ad hoc needs and very specific needs. If you have a certain problem or an issue, you do not know how to create something in Excel, you go to LinkedIn, you will find the solution. On the other hand side, we make use of Good Habits in a rather strategic way. As we talk about comprehensive e-learnings lasting up to 3 hours, it's a real substitute for in-house trainings. And we also blend our trainings with existing in-house trainings. So this is really meant to be something which is fully embedded in people's development plans as a 100% training or learning measure. So it's rather from a strategic point of view. As mentioned already, and in the intro, it's fully integrated in Workday Learning. It's one source of e-learning, which is pretty handy because you don't need to go into different platforms. I mentioned it already, blended learning approach is a future. What we try to do is that we embedded and we embedded pretty much every e-learning in everything that we do. If we communicate something from a HR perspective, we embed e-learnings. If we do something from our well-being point of view, if our well-being team announces a Be Well week, we embed e-learnings. And this is how we have created a kind of habit, because e-learnings are everywhere and people now know on a global level that they can easily access them without any effort. Moving to, I guess, the more exciting aspect of our today's presentation.
I would say both are very exciting, because without the great implementation, there would be nothing to communicate, right? So big cheers to Patrick for a nice technical or
I'm the tech guy.
Technical intro, and now the communication girl is coming to the stage. Yeah, as Patrick mentioned, we try to embed learning everywhere, in every communication. Everything is going on in the company as well. We have different processes going through the year. For example, we have conferences which are happening twice a year, where we try to support people being prepared for their presentations, for example, or there are appraisal talks happening every year. So we try to put there our efforts to promote e-learnings. And as soon as remote work question appeared last year, we knew what to do. It was our big show time when we thought, okay, now we put our e-learnings on the stage, and those are the topics which you see on the slides, which we actually covered in these challenging times when people were struggling with switching their whole routine into Microsoft Teams, for example, or having troubles with work-life balance, or having troubles staying in shape in these times when you only work like 12 hours on the computer. As well, talking about blended learning and embedding learning into all our processes in the company, we also have a competency map. So now you have a big luck to see our PUMA competences here listed on the right side. And that's how we mapped the good habits courses which we have. It's just 1/20th or 1/25th part of all the courses we have. But just for example, you see that as soon as a manager or HR business partner wants to suggest suitable learning offers, they know that they go and map and connect the competence which needs to be developed with training which fits, which is an amazing tool, and it helped us as well to promote good habits courses in a more active way. How do we communicate? I guess the main message which we all can take out of this part of presentation is never stop communicating. And we communicate in different ways. We always have chit-chats and the coffee talks with business, asking what do they need. We are friends with people from all the departments probably, so we have the biggest network, I guess, in this building, connecting with everyone. And this is a model which actually very well describes how do we communicate. There is a model saying you always need to hum, you need to sing from time to time, and in some special moments you have to shout. Consistent awareness we create by this hum actions, and I will show you some examples in a bit. So you always hear something about learning there on the back, and this is all about humming. And then from time to time, as we said, there are appraisal talks, there are some corporate conferences when we should be there for people to support them. Then it comes the time to sing. So it's all about periodic initiatives. When we know what's happening in the business or in the world, and we are there with our solution. And large initiatives, of course, when we made a big bang, as Patrick said, with LinkedIn courses, or every wave of our good habits courses was also a big shout out with email to all employees, with many other tools which we use. What are we using to communicate? So there are some examples of hums, sings, and shouts here on the slide. For example, we have banners everywhere, which, for example, people are grabbing a coffee. They see the screens in the canteen. They see banners reminding them about our offer. As well, we like to sing from time to time, reminding people on special occasions about our courses. For example, here you see the picture when Patrick meets with our young talents, with interns and with apprentices, telling them what they can do in their time at Puma, which is also fantastic. And you see all the points which we are covering in this singing, so to say, moments in the year. And big shout outs is here. You can see a picture when we launched our Good Habits courses, the first wave, and we were celebrating with a branded bottle of champagne from Good Habits, and also everywhere were big banners, and all the business was picked up on this topic. Yes.
Never forget to celebrate your milestones.
Never. It's super important. Yeah, that's why we are so happy to still be working with each other, because we never forget to celebrate those. I would speed up. The one more important point I wanted to give you with is we always stay in very active touch with our colleagues from regions. So everything what we do, all the initiatives which you see on the slide, we always streamline to the regions. We share all the communication materials so it can be very easily also communicated in the region. So I think it's also one of the secrets of our success in communication, because we don't do it just by our own. I'm not sure if time allows us, but I just want to give you a quick overview what we have done here on site in Herzogenaurach, in our headquarters. Lately, we launched a challenge with one of the legendary employees here at Puma headquarters, and actually worldwide. I think I need to show you the video. Yeah, you will enjoy it. It's Helmut Fischer. This is a legendary person who takes care of Puma archive from the very beginning and has a big amount of knowledge to share. And he was our ambassador for one of our latest e-learning campaigns. So let me show you the video. I believe you will love it.
Hi Pumas. Wusstet ihr, dass sich bei Puma alles um Forever Learning dreht? Ich bin 71, inzwischen 43 Jahre bei Puma und liebe es, neue Dinge zu lernen. Und jetzt wird bei Puma das Lernen digital. Sei dabei.
Right, so you can imagine what a buzz such an action creates. We shared this video with all our regions. We played this video everywhere. And when people hear such a challenge coming up from one of the most respected and interesting person in the company, everyone takes it serious. So there were many winners of this challenge, and it was a good example. Another good example, sooner or later on LinkedIn, you will see some of our employees posting such a certificate. So this is the way we try to engage our learners and say big thanks to this 1% of this top 1% of learners who did their great job in completing so many e-learnings. And this quarter, we shared this certificate with 164 employees worldwide, which was fantastic to send out it to all different parts of the world.
To add on that,
yeah,
this is basically only possible because everything is stored in one learning management system.
Oh, yes.
So from a data or a rather technical point of view, it's just grabbing a report and taking 1% of all the learners who completed e-learnings in a certain period of time. And that's the beauty of only having one system instead of having different systems with a lot of interfaces and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. This was a key why it was so easy to drive it. Yeah. As we mentioned, we always stay in touch with our regions and we learn from them a lot. So we are completely living the peer learning. So as well as they learn from us, we learn from them. To take care of time, I wouldn't go deeper, but I believe you will be able to see the recording and probably see the slides. I'm not sure, but also you can reach out to us and figure out how it's all working. anyways, you see here what our colleagues in APAC region doing. So it's like Hong Kong, China, Japan, and many other countries in Asian region. And they have so many fantastic initiatives, like they have a learning day every year when all employees, as you can see on the slide, are getting together, having a nice learning breakfast, and they have a machine where you can pick out some learning challenges and as well prizes. In some countries, they also work with sticker system, I would say. So as soon as you complete an e-learning, you get a sticker so you can cover your card and then get a big prize.
Great, Polly and Patrick. The time is over.
Wow, already?
Yeah, we are a little bit over the time, And we have some questions. Is it fine for you? Okay, great.
Definitely.
I read up the questions. Let's start here. I have to scroll a lot. Here. Is Workday also your HRIS? That means Human Resources Info System?
Yes. It's our one-fits-all solution. There is only one HR-related system, and this is Workday.
Okay, and that's why you select Workday Learning.
Exactly. It was basically a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm. Great. The next question. Oh yeah, here. Are you also responsible for product trainings?
Yes and no. So we on the one hand side, we rely on external partners, external trainers who conduct trainings also on the product side. We're pretty much very specific to functions. On the other hand side, if we talk about product, if we talk about how people work together in the product area, this is something which we internally cover with, for example, our agile coaches. On the retail side of things, we do have a pool of global retail trainers who train people in product on a rather sales point of view.
Okay, thank you. Which are the pitfalls, limitations of your e-learning design from the participant point of view?
The pitfalls from a e-learning design point of view? Not sure if...
From a learner.
From the learner. Are there some limitations? You told us that you rolled out LinkedIn Learning, the whole 18,000 video courses for all your employees.
Yeah. So there are pretty much no limitations. Everything that we have implemented is fully there. So limitations for specific people do not exist. When we speak about pitfalls, it's on the one hand side, it's great to have more than 17,000 courses. On the other hand side, sometimes it's just tricky to find the right course because of just that massive volume. But I wouldn't consider that as a pitfall.
Okay. Oh, no, it's here. The question changed the screen. Oh, great question. How do you combat training fatigue?
Very good question. Is it this question related to current situation? Probably, right? So that when people are afraid of participating in trainings due to Corona, right?
A challenge of offering too many training options. Okay, many training options. One challenge with a digital. Yeah, okay.
We get it. Yes, definitely. At the beginning, there were comments. Oh my God, there are over 17,000 courses. How to proceed? How to choose? Luckily, there are two ways we are handling this fatigue, and I would say now we don't have it anymore. Two ways. One way, we have fantastic filter system in our LMS, so everyone can filter by the topic. The topics are very well established, I would say. They are precise enough, so there are not just 5 general topics. They are very precise.
Yeah.
You can filter by topic, you can filter by the content type. So if people prefer to watch short videos, they filter LinkedIn Learning. If people prefer comprehensive learning, getting deeper into the things, then they would filter Good Habits courses. And the same with in-house trainings. The second thing is our digital learning learn catalog. We have on our internet digital learn catalog where people also can go into the topics or find out the newest trainings or the hottest topics as well. So.
Okay, thank you. Are there any further incentives that Puma offer to complete learning on time? Wow.
Learning on time. That depends on the definition of I would say learning on time. Incentives. Obviously, the challenge that Polly has provided, we do a couple of these throughout the whole year to really make learning attractive. So we try to promote learning as not something which is a must.
It's a fun.
It should be, there should be the fun aspect within every e-learning. And on the last slide that Polly shared, our colleagues in APAC, for example, they're doing a great job in really incentivizing e-learnings, really making them attractive, having an e-learning day, implementing gamification pieces to it. So I would say the incentive is rather the fun piece.
Okay. This is a question for you, Patrick. It's a technical one. Is your LMS homegrown or SAS, software as a service model?
It's not homegrown, so it's part of what Workday is offering. So it's pretty much Workday as a one-fits-all solution, includes recruiting, includes time tracking and absence, includes benefits, performance, and one of these modules is learning. So pretty much the LMS is integrated there, which is also the beauty of it because all of our employee data is already there. So no user interfaces, no interfaces anymore, no shifting of reports. It's just there.
Okay, thank you. And last but not least, how big is your team? How many people support your project?
Fantastic. Very good question. Many people asking this question when we share something like this. Definitely, we can say this is our team.
Oh, great.
And big shout out as well to our manager, to Christian Klutz. This is also a big support every day. And our intern, Teresa. She also probably watching now, so big shout out to her. So in headquarters, this is our team. Of course, we have many colleagues in the region, as mentioned. So yeah.
But it's the two of us handling a lot of interesting and exciting things in our headquarters.
Okay, thank you very much. Here are a lot of questions too, but our time is over. Lisa, your turn. Or not?
Time for a group picture, probably.
Yeah,
we are very
of
excited.
course, the group picture.
I can take over. It's time for the group picture. We are overdue, so just give us a second for the final picture. So maybe Lisa, you can put everyone again
together
on the stage for the final picture. If you want to be on the final picture, just turn on your camera. I hope that Lisa is not frozen. Yep, great. So we need everybody on the picture. So maybe Lisa, you can unpin us and then we can see everybody.
Of course I do. Just give me a second. Okay, we are ready for the photo.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the suitable to say?
Shake your hands for the passport.
Shake your hands. I also
Yeah. And Volker, shake your prize.
Good.
Great.
Okay, Lisa.
Okay, we're done. Thanks a lot for you. Great.
That was it. Our first Speed Geeking session in English. Thank you very much for participating. Thank you to our keynote speakers, Speed Geeking speakers, moderators, timekeepers, the organizational team in the background, especially Lisa and Frank. And of course, to all of you, thank you. You are a great audience. Have a nice day, and maybe we see us next time.
Bye there.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye there. Thanks
Bye
a lot.
there. Have a wonderful weekend.